Well then, hello people, or if anybody is watching this. This is a not a special video actually. This is the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, doing a sequel discussion some time ago. Sorry. This is a video I call Boku no Hero Academia Class A, Class B Part 2. If you all recall, which you probably don't, check out the link below of my discussion about Class A and Class B. I will probably talk about the same thing I talked about that in that video here, but this video is actually for part 2, so to speak. The so-called, or as I like to call it, the ultimate comparison. What differs between Class A and Class B? And again, what I'm gonna say here, well, I probably already have said in this one. The reason why I'm doing a part 2 is because I first said I will do a part 1. It's also because after the matches were done, only then could you confirm and compare everything else. First of all, though, to compare other people is usually not a good thing. Because let's face it, we compare ourselves to people every single time. I do a lot. There's so many out there, from YouTube stars to celebrities to many more, who I feel are a lot better than me. And with that, I get a sore taste in my mouth. But I know why they are better than me. Because not only do they have more charisma, they also know how to do things good. I don't. So what is the point of that whining? The point of that whining is that a lot of people compare Class A and Class B. How are they different? Are they different? Or are they same? Well, let's discuss that first. Let's diverse it into different parts. Number one. What does Class A have in strength that Class B does not? Well, first of all, Class A is, of course, the main characters. Granted, we only have a selected few main characters, so we don't see all of Class A all the single time. But they are the class we see every single time right now, unless they will be killed off in a future. They can be considered the main focus of everything that we see right now. Class A also has a lot of diversity in quirks, from very weak-looking ones to ones with extreme strength to those that do not look impressive but actually can be scary if used correctly. More than that, however, is the fact that a lot of people, in the manga at least, says that Class A has people with a lot of potential. Even those that seem to have no potential at all has sometimes been said to have that kind of potential. So the thing is, though, that they can really make that strength when they do. The biggest, of course, is in the main characters. Deku, as he is supposed to become the inheritor of One for All. Bakugo, the jerk who do not deserve to become a hero, yet at the same time defies everything he actually looks for. He looks like a thug, he looks like a brute, and he looks like a complete jackass. He is a complete jackass, but the rest is false. He's actually smarter than he looks, and with that has enormous amount of potential as a hero, which is actually a dangerous combination. He is a villain-looking hero, and those can actually be the most strongest and dangerous of all. It's also his ambition to surpass All Might. Ignium Ida at first didn't really look that impressive, but after having confronted his deepest emotions, and also is the fact I still don't like that he switched Japanese pronouns! I have no idea why he did that. Okay, and nothing about that. After confronting the situations of his personal feeling, he came to realize what a true hero is. And with that has actually become a little bit more heroic. However, unlike the others, we don't see that all the time, although this class match actually showed just how much he had matured. And then the only female main character, Uchaku Uraraka. From a shy-looking girl, and looking like a girl who has a lot of things for money. A lot of people do suspect if she's a mole, And yet at the same time, she's also a girl that really can show maturity and real heroism when no one else is expected. Meaning that even though she cannot be as destructive as Deku and Todoroki and the Bakugo, she really can be heroic, just as much or even more than Deku. Todoroki is also another main character. He's the perfect example of the jaded main character. Strong potential, jaded personality that hinders his potential, and he's slowly growing into it. And that he's looking, but he's for now an inferior Bakugo, because although he's nicer than Bakugo, he's not as strong physically as Bakugo. And finally is Kirishima, the perfect example of a guy with a lot of heart and a lot of passion, yet at the same time a lot of insecurity and worry that can really show that despite all that have very huge potential as well. That even though his quirk looks very simple, it can surprisingly be very nice looking and good. And after that, we have the rest of the characters, each and every one having their own charm to this. Yao Momo, after is said to be a prodigy, and yet she has lost every single match she has been in so far. And I have a feeling the author is actually making her that kind of victim, unfortunately. That's not really a surprising trend in shonen, but still. Let's see, Denki Kaminari. I mean, he's the typical idiot. Yet at the same time, author says he is the heart, meaning that he also ties the class together with his jokester and all that stuff. Suyu Asi is a very calm person, yet has a also very friendshipping. Although people sometimes suspect if she is the mole, she has although she's not as passionate looking as Deku or Uchaku, it's clear that she values heroism, at least if we assume she is not a mole. And then who are the rest we have? Well, Earphone Jack, another example of a worried hero that has potential, yet at the same time she is afraid that what she has is not heroic enough. Then a shy boy that can communicate with animals that does not get so much developed. From a guy that has a naval laser that at the same time shows insecurity for that, tries to be very vain. An athletic girl that is as dumb as rocks, according to media. And, well, there's just so many, too many to actually even count. Sugar Man and all that stuff. Okay, I've rambled too much. One day we should probably do a video discussing every single class A'er. I mean, granted, that video has been done with a lot of people, but you know what? I think I'll do that in the future. Moving on! Oh, by the way, Mineta is not my hero. Sorry. But he is the perverted guy that actually can show remarkable achievements when he wants to, but at the same time, he's just there for comedy. However, I can agree though. Everyone can be a pervert sometimes. Not that that's okay in the current society. Unfortunately, after all, it's that witch hunt with sexual harassment and all that stuff. But still, in this one, it's at least played for comedy. So, what was my point about Class A? Class A has diversity amount of quirks. But these quirks have all the potential of actually becoming very strong if they are used correctly. In fact, even the naval laser can become very deadly. But he also says that his body is not built for that. But it can be offensive. The ability to control animals, that doesn't seem like a dangerous ability. But if you think about it, if you could control the bigger animals, just imagine what he could do. And also insects as well. Even Mineta. I mean, we even saw that in the match. His grapefruits look sticky, but for him they can even be bouncy, proving that something as quirky as that can even be very good as well. However, what is Class A's biggest weakness for me, I feel, is a lack of teamwork. There's yet not discussion. Do Class A see themselves as classmates or do they see each other as friends? Well, I do believe they do see each other as friends, although granted, the only scene where they actually have confirmed that they are friends is in a filler scene in the anime. Other than that, they are very reserved in saying that they are friends. I mean, when I say that they have not that great teamwork, it's actually a mixed opinion. Take their dance competition, for example. That was excellent teamwork. That was dedication. But when it comes to fighting together, Class A is very divided. Mostly because some people know who is the limelight, the guideline of it all, and who is not. So here we go to the match. First match. Let's call it Suyo team in that situation. Who was the one who was pulling them all that time? Well, Shinso appeared to be the most important person in the match. Yet at the same time, I think it was Suyu who was the leader in that. She was staying calm. She did that thing. And even Denki got some situations. The rest, unfortunately, was knocked out just like that to show Class B's power. So that was actually, I mean, they did work together, but also not completely together. Diverse moments that gave advantage of each other's weaknesses, so to speak. But I feel like the one who was leading that was Suyu, meaning she had the most potential in that situation. Let's see, class number 2, the match 2. It was obviously that the ones who were pulling that match was Momo, I mean Jiao Momo, and Sukuyami. The thing is though that Sukuyami fought alone because it was divided alone, and Class B was making very sure to cut off Yaomomo, who was called the Brains. And indeed, if Tokuyami just hadn't underestimated that girl, they probably would have won this, just because Yaomomo saw ahead and did that. It shows that Yaomomo is a very smart girl, yet at the same time she's always defeated just to prove a point. And that point is he wastes her potential. I mean, the author. But it does show that Tokuyami, while he saved his fellow heroes as much as he could, he also fought alone when he wanted to. And Yaomomo, while very smart, is not that good in getting charismatic people in board. Yet at the same time, she is the brain of that team, meaning she is the one who was pulling them all. Then we get to the second team. That was a brawl, a straight up brawl. So there was no one who was really pulling everything, although Ida was actually the only one who managed to arrest someone. Probably implying that I will say he was the hero in this situation, because in the end it was all a brawl. Todoroki Shoto was underestimating his opponent just because he didn't want to get that serious. And Ojiro was just called very plain. That shows that when they are into a real brawl, depending on what kind of characters in that brawl, Class A can be pretty divided. They didn't fight together. Class B actually fought together in that scene. But Ida tried to save his friends, and they came to each other's rescue. That they did. But they didn't fight together. Class B coordinated their movements way better, showing a very scene. However, then we get to the Boku match, and that was an example of ultimate teamwork. However, only because Bakugo wanted to win. And therefore, they leaned on him. He said it himself. If I'm in trouble, you save me. I save you and you're in trouble. In a way, that is a teamwork, but also a very ungrateful type of teamwork, meaning that they based it around him. He saved them, then they saved him. And it was a very twisted and very strange looking teamwork, but it worked just because Bakugo is that strong in potential. So I mean, it wasn't really that situation I would call them the teamwork of friends, more like a teamwork of let's just win this. And finally, the other match. Who was the one who was pulling everything there? Actually, I think it was Uchako, to be honest. Yes, Deku, when he calmed down things, eventually took on Shinso. But Uchako was one of the only girls who actually did that. She was calm. She saved Deku in that situation. She managed to take down Momma and even came to the rescue when Class A was there. Because even there, Class A didn't really have any teamwork. And I mean, Deku and Ochako managed to work together in a way, yes. And so did Ashido, Mina, and Mineta when they could. Although Mineta just wanted to feel Mina's boobs. I mean, who wouldn't want to feel those boobs, right? Am I right? Moving on. But whatever is the fact that Class B's coordination there was still better teamwork. So the conclusion of it all is of Class A. Class A has excellent quirks and excellent potentials in the recruits. The thing is, though, if they work together, it can only be divided because they are sometimes meant to lean on a certain person's. Momo's characters is wasted constantly. I have to agree on that. That Kitaro-kun said that. So, oh yeah, and someone asked that Kitaro-kun just asked, who would you rather, Bakugo or Mineta? Oh, you're asking me that difficult question? I don't like either of them, you know. I mean, the thing is, though, Mineta is a pervert of girls. But I would love to have his kind of perversum, even though I would probably be arrested for sexual harassment in that situations. So I think I'll go more with Mineta in that situation because Bakugo is a bully, and I hate bullies. Even though I have been a little bit of a bully myself, maybe that's why I hate them. So maybe I will take Mineta in that situation, even though I hate to admit that. But yeah, Class A is excellent in fighting and everything else of coordination, but they are not that great in teamwork, depending on the fact that they can lean on a per certain amount of people. Then we get Class B. As I said before, what does Class B have for strength that Class A hasn't? Well, if I just talked about Class A and immediately say it, it's probably teamwork. But Class B, unlike A, has also a diverse amount of quirks. Don't get me wrong, those quirks are also neat. I wouldn't say I mean, yes, they are destructive. But also, if you think about it, a lot of those quirks are a lot more strategic than Class A's. I mean, let's just count them. The power of vines, a power that just allows you to. Well, it can be a very snaring and enormous amount strong, but it's a very technical ability. The air prism, strong when it wants to, but it just if it works. Let's see here. The fungus one, very tricky and dangerous because it can grow in your throat, but only because of that. The comic ability, that can be destructive, but suffers from lack of throat. Even big hands, yes, that is a quirk of strength, because the user has to be good in martial arts in order to use it. But if you think about it, yes, they are strong. After all, there's not so many things in life that can crush tungsten, and tungsten is hard. So I wouldn't exactly look down on an ability like that. However, if One for All and Big Hands clashed, who would win? That's my point of my question. Actually, that's a very good question. If Big Hands and One for All clashed, who would win? I guess that depends on how high the percent of One for All would be, right? I mean, you can give me your thoughts if you have any on that one. But still, that's a close combat. Granted, she has used it once for long reach, but far it's not confirmed if she can use it completely of long reach like Mineta can. No, sorry, Deku can. And what else do we have there? Even that quicksand-like ability, softening. That's a very technical, extremely dangerous when you can about it, but if you think about it, it's a softening. That works very well, but only if you work together, and depending on you do it. Drill ability can be good too, even the horn cannon, but that is a horn cannon that can also be used for trickery. Even that iron ability, which is like an enhanced ability of Kirishima's, although Kirishima's sometimes have been noted to be stronger, can be strong, especially since it could withstand Todoroki Shoto's abilities. Yet at the same time, it's worth noting that all he can do is charge forward. Is that really something that should be happening in real life? Real life in the manga, at least. Then we get to that other match. I mean, granted, they were taken out pretty quickly before we can even see their potential, but a lot of their abilities are also technical. An ability to glue, an ability to draw in to weld your ability and other things, an ability to split your body in half and then giving support. That is also very technical. And finally, the final fight. A copy quirk. A quirk that can telekinetically send things your way. An ability to counter in a way to send them even faster. An ability to increase the size. Yes, if you think about it, Class B's abilities are all about technique. Yes, they can be destructive. But a lot of their abilities are a lot more technical than Class A's, meaning that they have to be smarter than Class A. And I think that is why Class B is considered more of a teamwork ability. They know their weaknesses and they know their strengths, meaning that they are working a lot of times more together in order to deal with their weaknesses. In fact, they support each other a lot more vocally in the matches than Class A did. I mean, granted, they didn't exactly look down on each other, but you know what I mean. I mean, Class A didn't really look down on each other. However, while I do say sometimes that they may have teamwork, I have to admit, though, that they do have a flaw. And you're probably gonna ask yourself, well, Angry, aren't you a guy who like hope and like teamwork? Yeah, you're right. It's just that it's a part of that teamwork that is the flaw. I mean, now I'm probably gonna confuse myself. I'm saying that sometimes Class B looks closer than Class A. At least they're more openly, vocally like that. However, I think the biggest difference between Class A and Class B, which is probably not their fault, they even have acknowledged it themselves, is a lack of action. Class A may sometimes not be very good in working together due to the fact that they hang on to leaders. Class B know each other's weaknesses and therefore they can work more together because they know they are just that weak sometimes. Or maybe they know each other that things. However, that can make them very easily taken out if you think about it. That means that each match has a link. Someone you have to take out first if you want to win. It's a chain of a teamwork that can break, but Class A didn't do that because they didn't know that. Case in point, match 1. Who was the most important one in that match? Yurata, the Beastman. He was the juggernaut, probably one of the most destructive close combat quirks of it all. He and Vines were very deadly in this situation. And you're probably asking, well, how can they stop a Beastman? Well, they couldn't, but they were so focused on the Beastman that they forgot the others. Meaning that they aimed for Vines, Class A, and that was a good choice because she can capture a long distance. Meaning she is not good in a fight. But the Jurata Beastman, Gervanten, is. And then it's the vampire guy, I mean the Scales guy. He's not really that important, nor is Air Blower. However, it's the fact that it's a coordination attack there. In order to break that, if they could take out the Beastman first, they probably would have won immediately. Because he had them on with the most offensive abilities. But because he had the most offensive ability, taking him out was out of the question. So they aimed for Vines. Because Vines is the one who can capture them most. And once she was captured, everything went up in smokes. But also because they decided to aim for, well, you know, the others one. Match number 2. Obviously, that is Kendo. She is obviously the one key. She's a strategic. If they took out her first, they probably would have won. But unlike in that other match, the class didn't depend on Momo. She had already told them the plans, and then that would have happened. The only thing is that if Takoyami hadn't underestimated Mushroom Girl, they would have won. The reason being that Kendo made up the plans, meaning that if she didn't have any more plans, everything would have fallen apart. They did coordinated attack, but as soon as they were cornered, they were cornered. So they only won because Class A underestimated them. And if Kendo had been taken out, they would have won, meaning that she is the one who coordinated it all. In match 3, obviously Mudman. He was the one who changed the flow of every single match. No, I'm not counting Iron Fist. Tetsu. He is a worthless piece of person right now. Yes, he was reckless, but that's the thing. He was reckless. I don't look down on reckless heroism because I feel like it's that thing. It's just, however, a case in point. Would that really have worked in real life? So if they had taken out Mudman first, they would have won. Pony definitely supported them all, but each and every one knew who their role was, meaning that if Class A had not fallen for the trap of a big brawl, they would have separated it. They could have taken out Pony first, and then aimed for Spiral, and then Mudman, and finally the Iron Fist, and then they would have won. So it's just pointed there that each and every one knows their mission, meaning if you collapse another point of it, they would have won. Then the other match. Obviously, Lizardi was the one with the strategic. And her plan immediately went out of the window because of how Bakugo had grown. They underestimated him. So, yeah, it's just the point that another line, they depend on something. That is a teamwork. They know the roles, and as soon as the roles were reversed, everything was reversed. Finally, the other match. Obviously, they relied a lot on Shinso and Momoma. However, Momoma, in the end, just failed to realize that Ochako was very good in hand-to-hand combat. And Shinso, while very interesting in the fight, also underestimated Deku's resolve. And the rest of them ended up in a brawl. They knew their attack coordination, but once that was broke, everything was broke. So my point in this very long talk of it all is that while Class A may look like they have excellent teamwork, each and everyone knows a role. Break that role, and you break them. Class A do not really have that problem, because they know how they work, and they can even take out the fact that even in a disadvantage, they can turn it around, because there are sometimes a very strong sense of adaptability, because they have been in villain situations. Class B has not been in so many so far. So the thing is more that Class B may have stronger friendship than Class A, but they do not have as much as flexibility and adaptability as Class A. But to end the point of it all is that I don't think Class B or Class A are each other's inferior. I mean, I may have said this entire video that some may have that stronger than the other class, but I think they are just as equally strong. Yes, Class A won. To summarize the point that Class A is Class A, and they are the main characters. Each and every class lacks something, and they need to learn from each other in order to gain that. But if I were to aim, who would I still choose as my class? I still pick Class A, because, well, Class A is Class A. They are my gang, you know. I feel like they are the ones with the most potential. If they admit each other as true companions, I have a feeling Class A will surpass any type of hero there is. So they have to work on each other's weaknesses. Class A's weakness is that sometimes a lack of teamwork and admitting of camaraderie, but can sometimes switch into strong adaptability and strength of their quirks. Class B has strong teamwork and a camaraderie, but they do not have the sense of switching into another situation if a chain is broken just because they know each other's quirk and do not know their situation. They know their roles, but what if the roles are broken? That's how I see how Class A and Class B works differently in it all. But they are not each other's inferiors. Each have one another's strength. So what else is there to say about them that we haven't already said? Well, as I said before, Class A has more destructive quirks, I feel. Class B has more technical quirks. Class A has more of a quirky characters. Class B's has a lot of strange characters. Class A's has strong potential heroes that everyone has a lot of hopeful for. Class B has a lot of heroes that will show potential only later, I feel. Class A can work very well if they work together. Class B can work very well if they develop their quirks in a different way. So maybe that's the difference. I don't know. But yes, maybe one for all would win against big hands. I mean, duh. I just do not know how much is the limit in those hands' power. Because we don't know so far if Deku can crush tungsten. So you know what? I think I'll end the discussion of those videos over there. They're not each other's inferior, but each one has a different charm. You know, next time I do a discussion of this, maybe I will discuss each individual class, including the characters. I mean, that has happened before to other people, and unfortunately, I cannot do it interesting like Vocal Pineapple and other people. I wish I could, but unfortunately, I can't. So I will discuss the different classes, each character, their biggest flaws and strength, if I remember this. But if you have watched this, you can always give me your thoughts if you have any. Who do you think has the strongest potential? What do you think is the biggest flaw in those classes? And even what is the biggest flaw in the match? My summation of the class matches was, yes, it was pretty long, and yes, it was a little bit dragged out. But also, it was needed, and I liked it. Because we needed to see a little bit more of Class B's personality. Even if it was a long filler. So give me your thoughts if you have any.